It is packed out there. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but man, it is jam-packed this year. Good stuff. Okay, so I think it's worth mentioning, many of you probably know that we've done several panels at San Diego. We usually do our licensed products panels there, but this is the first Blizzard Publishing panel at New York Comic Con. Showing up, and if you like it, hey, maybe we'll do more of these. So I'm going to introduce our panelists, starting at the far left over here. This is an author whose name you're all going to recognize, and when I say his name, you're going to say to yourselves, well, wait a minute, this author has not done any Blizzard books before. And you would be right. And you would say to yourselves, this author has not done any Warcraft books before.
What could it mean?
And you would be right about that. What are we leading up to here? Well, you'll see. You will find out. This author has written over 45 novels, and I know you've all read I, Jedi. Yes. I know you've all read Rogue Squadron.
Yeah.
Yes. Please join me in welcoming Michael Stackpole. We are very excited to have him here today. Now, next, this is a person who you know, even if you don't know that you know him. What could that possibly mean? Well, this person is largely responsible for the content that you guys are all playing right now in Mists of Pandaria. Lead quest designer for World of Warcraft, so he leads content that you guys are enjoying. Give it up one more time for Dave Kosak. And I will be your host and moderator today. I run the publishing team for Blizzard. I wrote World of Warcraft Ashbringer. I co-wrote Curse of the Worgen, and most recently I wrote Pearl of Pandaria. My name is Micky Neilson. Thank you very much. All right, so let's get started.
We got some seats up in the front there. You guys, in the back, you can like totally promote yourself to like first primo seats.
There's still some reserved seats that actually aren't taken as well. So, Blizzard Publishing, why do we do this? What's the point? What's the goal? This is really about enriching and expanding on the Blizzard universes. We can get into a level of detail that you can't really get into in the game, and that's something that we should talk about on the panel here in just a few minutes. Talking about game story versus story outside the game, and what is that balance, and how much story is too much story in a game, and that's something Dave and the team, you know, they're always tweaking and figuring out what works and what doesn't, and we're doing the same thing on the publishing side, you know, figuring out how much of what we represent in the publishing is represented in the game and vice versa. So that's why we're doing it. Also, character depth, right? Getting into these characters. You can really, really drill down into a character in a novel, in a narrative, in a way that you just can't do inside the game. So that when you go and play the game, you feel like you know these characters. So we have an announcement, an official announcement coming up right now. Where's Dave Lomley? Dave, please give a hand to Dave Lomley. He's helping us out today. Dave is an amazing graphic artist, and he got roped into doing this simply because he was here today. So we're going to see some artwork, and the artwork you're going to see is not the actual cover. We don't have the cover art yet, but we are making the official announcement right now. Let's see what we've got there. For all you troll players out there who have been waiting and dying, when are we going to see a good troll book? I am very happy to announce Vol'jin, Shadows of the Horde is our next novel. This is written by Michael Stackpole. Yes, that's why he's on the panel today. And we're going to talk about this book, and we're going to talk about Vol'jin. This is really a great way to get into Vol'jin's character in a way that we haven't been able to before. He's a really important part of the Horde, and so to be able to get into his character is very exciting for us. And we're also going to take a big look at Pandaria, at the continent of Pandaria, through this novel. I was calling it, when we were talking about this before, I was calling it the island of Pandaria, and Dave corrected me. He said, no, continent, and rightfully so. This is a whole new world that you guys are playing out there. So we're going to look into that Chin Stormstout, for those of you who are aware of his character. He's a big character. So right now I want to turn it over to Michael for a minute. And Michael, if you could just talk about Vol'jin and his character and kind of what this book means for his character, and maybe some of the ripple effect for the Horde later on down the road.
Okay. One of the interesting things about working in someone else's world and getting that privilege of being brought in is that sometimes they'll hand over to you an iconic character, and that's certainly Vol'jin. One of the interesting things that I had to do, one of the tough tasks that you face when they do that, is that you have this character that you've got little bits of lore and mentions and different things scattered throughout the game. And you have to kind of collect all of those and go, okay, I've now got 5 pieces of the puzzle. How do I fill in the rest of it, and how do I make it all work? And this is especially true in the scenario that I was given, the situation I was given. They said, look, this is a critical point in Vol'jin's life. This is a starting point from where he decides how he's going to go forward. So you have to take a character and figure out who he was, figure out where he's going to go, and then set up all the trials and travails that you have to do to go through and actually get him there.
Yeah, there's a very strong inciting moment that really kicks off the novel, kicks off a lot of soul searching from Vol'jin. It's made for great novel material.
Right, and then after that inciting moment, which leaves Vol'jin a little worse for wear, I think we'll safely say, to get to rebuild him and get him to look at how he got to that point and where he's going to go forward and what this is going to mean for the Horde. Vol'jin, as you all know, through the stories and everything like that, has really identified the trolls, especially the Darkspear, with the Horde, and really sees the Horde almost superseding the Darkspear. And this suddenly is a big problem, trying to figure out what's going to happen as he pushes forward.
And there's no better place to do some soul searching and some deep thinking than Pandaria. So.
Absolutely, in a monastery with people helping him out, including Chen, providing those drafts and other drinks that will promote contemplation and
lots of booze. I did a lot of contemplating last night myself.
So Dave, could you talk a little bit about what we're going to see in 5.1, how that relates to the book and the context for what's going on in the book and the game?
Yeah, absolutely. Big picture, I mean, we're really trying to really focus on storytelling at Blizzard in a very deep way, both in the games and with all of our other materials. In the past, we've definitely been very good at writing good books and very good at creating good games, but sometimes, if you've been reading novels, sometimes they feel separate. They feel like separate entities, like it's not really connected and the stories aren't woven together. So what we're really trying to do, and this is an experiment for us, and we're going to keep working at it, is really try and weave the properties together in a way that's just really rewarding and really interesting as the franchise grows. So as you know, with if you've been following us since BlizzCon, we have a kind of a grand story arc for the 5.0 expansion. It's not the box product, it's kind of chapter 1, and then it continues with this Pandaren campaign that will sort of come to life in patches 5.1, 5.2, 5.3. In patch 5.1, the fleets are landing on the southern shore, sort of the main body of the Alliance and Horde fleets are landing on the southern shore of Pandaria, and things are going to really heat up. So with this grand story arc, we have some pivotal characters doing some pretty important things. So obviously Garrosh Hellscream, Jaina, and everyone supporting that, I know read Tides of War, happens to be sitting right here. Obviously some very critical things happen with Jaina, and she's going through a lot of soul searching as well. And we explore that. And next, obviously, Chen's going to play an important role, and Vol'jin definitely is a pivotal character for this story arc. If you played Cataclysm, if you rolled a neutral since Cataclysm, you know that as soon as Garrosh stepped up as War Chief, Vol'jin said, "Look, this is all going to come down. You're not fit for this. This is all going to come down around your head. I'm going to be the one. I'm going to be right there when you fall." And we're going to kind of see that pay off. We're going to see what happens next. So the real challenge for us is how do we integrate this into the game? And so that inciting incident that I talked about, that'll be in the game. That'll be in 5.1. And so what kicks off all of Vol'jin's soul searching is going to be in game, so you can see it in game and in the novel. And you might get a chance to kind of Vol'jin's going on a journey, and you might get a chance to kind of meet up with him at various places along that journey. As I said, it's an ongoing experiment. We're really working hard to try and integrate the properties together. For instance, with Tides of War, we had the Battle for Theramore put into the game as a scenario, and then really watched closely for the feedback. And generally, I think the feedback for that, riotous applause. The feedback for that was, we had this moment, this action moment in the game, but a lot of players felt they didn't get enough context from that. They felt like there's this little bit out of context. They really wanted to see more, and we should put more context in the game. So we're learning that. Lessons like that, we're constantly evolving, we're moving forward. And I think I'm really excited about what we're going to do with Vol'jin, because it's a great character, a great story, and you're going to get to see interact with it in the game and in the novels.
And just from my perspective as a writer, when I went over to Blizzard and we met and talked about the story, and I got to Dave was very kind and flew me through Pandaria so I could get the visuals, but also sort of get a general sense of what was going on. It was really neat. He would explain something and I go, "Oh man, that's perfect. I can use that in the story." And as we're having the conversations back and forth, it's like, here are hooks that you can use, and I can build that in. And hey, is there anything that would work this way? Yes, we've got something like that, or we can make this do this. It was really cool, and I've worked on other properties in the past where you have that sort of integration, and at least for me doing creative work, it just makes it so much fun, and I think that gets reflected in what comes out in the books and in the games.
It was tremendous working with Michael, because from the very first meetings when we were showing him Pandaria, he was like, when can I get my hands on this? When can I get in there? I want to play with this. I really explore this, and taking all those details that are in the game and really fleshing them out. And so when you read the novel, it's really going to feel like Pandaria. It's going to be really connected to the game. That's important for us, and this will be fantastic.
So, Michael, how much had you played the game before, if at all, and what was it like immersing yourself in the universe to write the book?
Well, I come out of a gaming background, and because I write for a living and I don't have a boss to tell me to work, I'd actually avoided consciously World of Warcraft. Because I knew that I would get no work done and that I would starve and couldn't play anymore. So this would not be a good thing. But when we started talking, they were very generous and sent me everything. And then I had the marvelous excuse of taking a month to play World of Warcraft, knowing that it was research. So I could justify that, and the IRS will pay me back, which is even better. So it was, I know again from having worked with Star Wars and having worked with BattleTech, that diving in and getting a sense of what everybody's experience is through World of Warcraft is really, really important if you're going to write novels that will ring true. And so I really wanted to do that. And again, being a gamer and getting caught up in the thing, I just loved it. So I burned through a bunch of different characters.